Zhi Chuan. Zhi straight, Chuan fist. So it means like straight punch, straight hitting with your fist. We are starting now the hitting with fist exercises, punching exercises, which actually belong to the group of Fa Li, issuing power. Fa to issue, to send, Li force, strength. This term generally doesn't mean some specific way of generating and using power, but it's very, very general and might mean different ways of using power. Anytime you affect opponent body in some way, unbalancing him, pushing him, hitting him, it is kind of issuing power to his body. The first of those exercises is with Zhi Chuan. This one is also called Pujide Zhi Chuan, which means Pujide, not straight. Zhi straight, because it's not exactly straight, but it's at some angle, and you keep your elbow bent a little bit. So it's not just straight forward. There are some other directions of forces. There are some other uses for this movement than only hitting with front of your fist. What is important, that you should not try to practice this at this beginning stage as if it was some fighting technique very fast with big power, because this would make you tense. This would be about using so-called local power, while what you want to develop is the so-called whole body power. And also you should remember that each one is based on the coordination between mind and body. So it's the mind, the intent, which is leading the movement, which is leading the strength. If you're trying to practice fast from the very beginning, it becomes something like in typical so-called external styles, like in boxing, typical movement. But this is not the idea. In each one, the idea is that your intent should lead the movement. You need to learn this. So this is easier to practice when you're a beginner, when you practice slowly in a relaxed way. You will not be able to do it if you're trying to practice fast and with big power from the very beginning. And this is the reason why in many Yiquan schools they will not teach you Fa Li exercises too early. They will make you practice only Zhang for a long time before they will teach you Shi Li exercises. Then Zhang and Shi Li for quite a long time before finally you can start Fa Li practice. Because first you need to practice in those simple situations to learn how to use intent to lead your movement, to initiate the strength the power. In Yao method, we are introducing Fali much earlier. But it is not contrary to what other schools do. Because when we introduce Fali, this is not the actual Fali which is practiced at higher level, but it's some preparatory exercises, kind of simplified exercises. This is very good to learn them because you get some idea about what is next in the program. You also better understand the relation between Zhangzhuang, Shili, Fali, so you get some better understanding of the whole system. And also those exercises actually prepare you, together with Zhangzhuang and Shili. Those simplified as if Fali exercises will prepare you for more advanced, the more real Fali practice. So you remember when I talked about forward Fali, Xiangqian Fali, which is also called Fangsung Fali, relaxed Fali. I explained that at the beginning you practice quite slowly and in relaxed way. Faster, of course, than Shili exercises, but not too fast. There is not so big difference, not suddenly jumping to something completely different. It's just something intermediate between Shili and the real Fali. So this helps you to better understand the whole system of the methods. When you understand this, it's easier for you to consciously practice Zhangzhuang and Shili in efficient way. Also those as if Fali exercises actually are quite good preparation for the stage where you practice Fali in more advanced way. So apart from doing this slower, more relaxed way, another thing is that the movements are more extended, in some cases exaggerated, like with forward Fali, you remember? Oh, there was so much bending body, while actually the advanced Fali you want to develop ability of generating power at short distance. But of course, as a beginner, there's no point practicing this way. But there is point in practicing those simplified variants where you some things which are happening inside are exaggerated, and you can better feel some movement, some relation between various parts of your body, some feelings which should appear in this more advanced practice. So it's like Chinese very often talk when talking about martial arts. They very often explain that it's like with calligraphy. You start from bigger characters, bigger strokes, and then gradually smaller, more subtle. So here it is like this. So sometimes people will look at what we practice and they will tell you that this is wrong, this would be useless in fighting. But here is some misunderstanding, because now at this stage you're not supposed to do it in the way which you will use in fighting. You're supposed to do it in such a way which is accessible for you at this stage, at this level, which makes it possible for you to practice some things. So it's simplified, it's more extended, bigger movement, some more standing up, some more straightening your legs, maybe. So you will assume some positions which you will try very often avoid in actual fighting. But if you, from this stage, a beginner, you would like to move like in fighting, like a high level, then no point learning each one. It's better to go to learn boxing or something like this. But if you want to learn each one, where the main point is intent, leading, body, you need to start from those basics before you move to fighting. So in other schools you will not do punching, hitting with fist at all for very long time, just focusing on Janjuan and Shi Li. Here in your school you will learn those methods, but those are just some simplified variants, some preparatory exercises preparing for you next stages. So don't think about it as the way which you use in fighting, but exercises which are designed in such a way which makes it quite easy to learn and make fast progress. So also some important thing is that some people think that they will learn some of those exercises and they will just keep practicing this over years and they will develop some skills. If you're thinking like this, then there is no point to start learning with us. There's no point starting learning each one at all, because it doesn't work like this. It's not so simple. People think that it's just learning a few exercises, repeating them and becoming a good fighter. No, what you're learning at the beginning is only preparing you for next stages, other exercises, but also the same exercises when you move back to them, they will become different. They will have much richer content. They will include things which you couldn't realize at first. Explaining them would be very often useless. Only due to learning next kinds of training methods, including practice with partner, pushing hands, including some sparring practice, you start noticing some things in those exercises. Just doing Jandras, just doing those Shilis without those next stages will not give you. You could practice, but you will not get this. But when you get this from the next training method, and you move back to those basics, there will be something more. You will realize things which you didn't realize before. Some new things can be explained, can be added because you are ready for this. So with any exercise, let it be basic Janjuan, basic Shili exercises, Fali, maybe this hitting with fist. It's not that now you're learning this and you just practice it like this. This is just stage. And when the basic goal of practicing at this stage was achieved, you should move to next stage, next level. The same exercises will be a bit modified because you will be ready to practicing them in this more advanced way. Then again, as if coming back to the same point beginning of the program, as if learning the same exercises, but again it will be different. So you learn those exercises, but you need to continue learning, coming back to your teacher, who after some time will teach you as if the same exercises, but at higher level, which is not accessible for a beginner. Simply too difficult. It's not possible to practice those more advanced ways if you are not ready yet. So you get the basic, simplified ways, then gradually those more advanced ways. With Yiquan, now you're learning this basic way, simplified, which is easy to practice for a beginner in a way where you will learn to coordinate your mind with your body. You will learn to you will start learning to lead the movement with intent. Then next stages you will learn more. So this exercise at this most basic level will look more or less like this. Now, more detailed explanation. So, Yiquan is the basic posture. Now, to practice this Yiquan, I turn my palms down and I make half closed, half open fist. See? It's not completely closed, it's half open. So this basic practice position will be similar to Yiquan with elbow pointing outward and sinking down, not too much sinking down. Creates too much opening here, not much lifting up, creates too much opening here. Of course, this would protect your ribs more, but not good for protection of your head. Actually, if you have big glove, okay, it's quite good for amortization. But if you have your own fist so close to your face, hitting your arm causes you hitting your face yourself. So some space, some embracing, something which we call a round posture. So being ready for many possibilities, not only here, but changeable, coming, hitting, contact comes using contact between your forearm and opponent, the forearm arm, to create opening, to push him, to pull him, to unbalance him, hitting and this unbalancing, you trying to do them together. Now, body and legs. weight mostly on back leg, sitting on back leg, this knee and toes on one line, and looking in the direction where toes of your front foot are pointing. Basically, in this exercise, you're all the time trying to look in this direction. Your body is turning, so your head is also turning, but not so much. On the other hand, you're not trying to keep your head in the same position. It's not comfortable. Your body is turning, your head is also turning, but not so much, and you're still trying to look in the same direction. So the forces inside, you should feel them. So there are those ideas of the springs of something stretching, squeezing, and so on. So you get this feeling of those forces due to those ideas, and you should practice with those feelings. You should not just try to make fast movement. Idea is to be able to feel this, to make this something natural for you. So gradually, even with faster movement, it will be movement led by your intent. Of course, at the really high level, it is so-called no intent. Between intent and no intent, the miraculous things will happen. This is more or less quotation from saying, not which Andrzej was repeating, but it's older. It comes from Yiquan. But now, the beginning of this path of learning. So, back foot pushing ground, toes and ball of front foot as if being pressed into the ground. You remember this from basic Shili exercises, but there will be some differences. Body standing up, final position will be 5-5. So starting from the 7 in back, most weight on back leg, to 5-5. As if stretching spring between top of head and back heel, and at the same time as if stretching spring between top of head and toes of front foot. Standing up, very big. Of course, in fighting, you will not do such big standing up movement. Of course, maybe there will be actions like trying to lift up opponent, doing something, sitting down, standing up, but if it will be about hitting forward, you will not try to make such big sitting down, standing up. But at this level, you're supposed to do it like this. Because this way, it is much easier for you to feel everything. When you will feel everything much better, then there will be time to make the movements shorter. So, here, standing up, but at the same time, turning. So from this position to such position. Please notice that heel of front foot is empty. Whole back foot is on the ground, but heel of front foot is empty. So when you're turning, front foot is also turning. So it's your body turning, your legs are turning. In this, of course, you don't turn in your foot, but you have this idea that this leg is turning outward. You remember that there was idea turning, twisting outward, inward in the exercises. of both legs turning this way. So this outward, this inward, and here also this foot is visibly turning. When you are turning, of course, it should not be just a movement, but this idea of using this internal strength led by intent, to overcome some resistance. So it's a feeling like maybe your body is tied with some ropes. Now, one end of the rope is here, another is there. They are connected to walls. So when I pull, I turn. It's like pulling and stretching. That similar feeling with your both legs. Overcoming some resistance, or being inside a tree, feeling resistance of the tree. So at this time, between your both legs, there will be idea as if stretching something, like as if there are many springs which you are stretching. So it will be different to those shillis which you practiced before. Here it was closing when moving forward to 5-5. Now, not closing, but opening, like trying to stretch those springs, as if trying to make step here, stretch. You don't make it because they are stopping you, but you feel that you are stretching them. So this idea of stretching. So those are the main ideas about body and legs, and after you do this, then just naturally move back. It's a bit as if some springs just move you back to this position. Again, here, overcoming the resistance, naturally moving back, as if some springs pull you back to the starting position. Now, let's talk about arms and fists. So here you see one of palms is more here, central line, the other more outside. But you make those half open fists. And see, this forearm is at some angle on this line. When I will hit, I will not hit forward, because I'm looking here, here's front. Straight forward would be here. Also not taking hand here and hitting from here, but from this position, so from bit outside inward. So the main direction is forward, but at the same time there is some inward and some upward movement, some inward and upward forces. The range of this movement is similar to the range of movement in Ping-Tui Shili. You should already develop the feeling of this final position in Ping-Tui Shili, where your elbow is still bent. So when hitting, you're not trying to straighten this arm too much, but trying to keep this elbow bent. Because it's not only thinking about hitting with front of your fist, but maybe there will come opponent hand who will hit at the same moment. Maybe he will just keep some guard, and you would like to, with this movement with your forearm, with some angle, to affect his guard. Maybe he will be quite relaxed, so this will create opening for your hit, maybe he will try to keep guard to raise arm, and you use this power, which can be used for punching, to unbalance him, to push him, just to unbalance him, to change to next actions. So the range of movement is like ping-tway ship. What's happening with the other hand? It is here, but when your body is turning, you see it is moving back. So now it is here. So it's like protecting my face, but I don't try to keep it too close, because then hitting here would cause me hitting myself with my own fist, but I try to keep some idea of embracing something, some distance, so absorbing in elastic ways possible changes are possible. Between, so here, this about face level, this here. Between both fists, as if there was some spring, so I'm also stretching these springs or those springs. Between this forearm and this upper arm, as if there were some springs, I'm also stretching them. All the time keeping this basic feeling of roundness, elastic force everywhere. First, we could practice this a bit slower for a moment. So it's like stretching those springs, 5-5 position, and moving back. Then, of course, a bit faster, but as I said, don't try to make it too fast. Just a bit faster, like stretching some springs, which at some moment breaking, and faster movement will naturally appear. Try to do it in relaxed way. So, stretching slowly, breaking. So it's breaking those springs which are here between your both arms, and also as if breaking those springs between legs, between top of head and both feet, those ropes which are preventing you from turning, you break them, but when you break them, breaking them gives you this feeling that sudden explosive movement is appearing in all parts of your body. So they are breaking, but then you should still have feeling as if some of them didn't break, but just stretched completely, not letting you move further. So that they are stopping and pulling you back to the starting position. So it shouldn't be like stretching, then everything is breaking, but breaking, and then some springs didn't break, stretch completely and pull you back. So slowly pulling, breaking, they stop you and pull you back. Now after this I moved back, but when you just start learning, it's good to stop in the final position to check the final position. If distribution of weight is right, if position of your body is right, if you don't raise your arm and your shoulder too much, and so on. So when we are training, I'm observing and I will correct you. Now, when you practice by yourself, you should practice relatively slowly, carefully, with stops, to be able to check and correct yourself. Now, you will hear many people from different arts or sports, combat sports, saying that no, you practice this wrong. This is because they don't understand what you do. They will tell, no, in fighting it will be too dangerous or something like this. You shouldn't do this. Don't listen, because now we are not teaching you the fighting method, but we are teaching you some preparatory exercises, and if you don't practice them in this way, it will only make more difficult to learn more advanced stages. So follow this to prepare good basics for next stages. But also some Yiquan people from different schools, they might practice different way and they might not understand what you are doing. So don't listen, it's only making you confused. Of course, there are many good methods, some paths which are leading you to the goal, but you cannot follow many paths at the same time because it's only makes you confused and slows your progress down. If you know that there is some good master who has a lot of experience, who had a lot of fighting experience, like our teacher master Yao Chengguang and his father, who had also a lot of experience of real fights with street gangs. That when you know this, that what we do has this source, and when you know that some teacher has a lot of experience in actual teaching really many students and developing good teaching methodology, just follow this. There are many people whose skill is high because they were able to develop high skill, but it doesn't mean that they have good teaching methodology. So maybe they can pass what they know and are able to do to some very able people, but then people who taught some more students and have good teaching methodology can help even some average person to achieve relatively high level. So this is why I have chosen Master Yao Chengguang as my teacher. Good teaching from his father, a lot of fighting experience and being quite successful at this, and having very good teaching methodology, which was partly developed by himself, but in big part it was also something which his father transmitted to him and his brother. So his father was teaching many people who achieved high level because he was teaching them in a way which helped them to do this. But he helped them to achieve high level while he didn't teach them much about methodology of teaching. So when they are teaching mostly in the way which worked for them, which their teacher Yao Zongxin had chosen for them, because they had some advantages, they had some problems, so the training was focusing on this. Master Yao Zongxin's teaching was adapted according to this, but then when they teach, they use exactly the same method, which was good for them, but not necessarily so good for other people. And as far as I know, more about how to teach was transmitted by Yao Zongxing to his sons Yao Chengguang and Yao Chengzhong. So when you know about this, this is a quite good reason to follow the method of one of Yao brothers. In my case, I have chosen Yao Chengguang, because if you choose some good teacher, it's not too good idea to try to learn from other teachers, because especially at the beginning stage, because those methods might be quite different and it creates a lot of confusion. After you achieve quite high level, it's different. It's good to see how others are doing the same things, how they are teaching. This can give you some ideas. This can be of some help to you, but at higher level. At the level when you just start learning, it's better to follow one method, one teacher. Okay, but back to this Yiquan. So at beginning, slowly moving back, then slowly, starting slowly, breaking everything, faster, stopping here to check the position, then moving back. Then when you feel that you don't make some big mistakes, hitting and moving back. Now, I was already talking about people practicing other arts or practicing in other each one branches. Sometimes they will see what you do and they will tell you that this is wrong. For example, they will tell you about the principle that toes of front foot should point in the direction of hitting. So when they see that you're turning this foot, they will tell you that you are doing this wrong. This is some kind of misunderstanding, of course, because those people who will tell you this just don't notice something important, that here we are not hitting straight forward where toes are pointing. We're hitting a bit upward and inward in this direction. So see, it's exactly this principle. Fist hitting and toes pointing in the same direction here. Now, next things, next ideas. Fists are half open, and this is as if keeping some small egg in each of your palms. You don't want to crush them at this moment yet, but when it comes to the contact, you for a short moment clench your fists, crushing those eggs. Crushing them and then immediately relaxing, moving back to this half open fist. So not keeping your fist tense, relaxed even if it's closed, and not tensing too early. If you create tension here, it will just slow down your movement and the power will be smaller. You want to move into the target then some closing. But also, this closing is not really tensing. It's not about becoming stiff. You will understand this through practice for some time. How to keep relaxed, so it will be more of what is called using internal strength, not brute physical strength, which is actually wrong way of using your strength, because slows your movements down and actually makes your hitting your really weaker. Then one more thing. There's a wall behind me. There's a wall in front of me. Or when I practice outside, it might be a big tree in front of me, or maybe big building. So the idea is actually we're hitting here, but at the same time you should have the idea that the power is reaching farther. So fist is hitting here, but I think that I'm breaking the tree, the building, the wall in front of me when hitting with this fist. But at the same time I'm turning and this elbow is moving back. So I also have idea that with this elbow I'm breaking a wall which is behind me. But don't think about this hitting from here. Turning. If you turn and still do this, a big opening here. So you're try not to move your fist too much back. Not this, but this position. Then you could also use idea that it's not walls, but it's a red hot iron plate in front of you, another behind you, and you are hitting and breaking them. But you must the movement fast, because hitting and moving back, because if you keep your fist there's bigger risk that you actually burn your fist or elbow, your body. So you will try not to do it like this, but of course I said not too fast. So don't try to do it very fast, but have this idea that you are hitting and moving back, because if you stay there, there is risk of burning your body. So not very fast. It will be something like slowly, faster moving back, slowly, faster moving back. It's more or less how you should try to practice this at the basic level.